over here.
I think I came to her.
He did.
So, I'm at Keller Williams. I'll give you a little bit more story, guys, because those of us that are listening here, there's going to be some brokers that reach out to you and try to promise you things and coerce you with money. And in 2017, I bit that bug. And can I say the company?
Yeah.
So I had Coldwell Banker coming after me, and they were pursuing me pretty heavily. And I kept blowing the guy off. And it's December 2016, and there was another agent leaving my office, and I'm like, where are you going? He goes, I'm going to Coldwell Banker. And I'm like, oh, they've been calling you too, huh? And it was him leaving that kind of enticed me to make that call. And the reason why I was enticed to make that call was I was trying to build a team that year, and I started in October, and some of the leadership at Keller Williams fed me some people, and some of those people that they fed me were their family members and friends. And right, their family members and friends get a place to live, and in the meantime, I might not get the best agent. I'm trying to be polite here.
Yep.
And I made a rookie mistake, and I was spending $3,000 a month on Realtor.com leads, and I was making $30,000 a month and converting them. Realtor.com in those days was, hi, Susan. Mm-hmm. I just got your request about 123 ABC Street. What time today would you like to see it? That was my script. And you know what Susan would say? Can you show it at 3? And I'm like, it's 2:30, and I'm in Temecula, and I'm still buying leads in Escondido. I'm like, can you give me 40 minutes? And I hauled ass down there. I stopped what I was doing and went down there. And back in those days, 2015, 2016, Susan would see one house with me, and Susan would say in 5 minutes, all right, I'm ready to write an offer. Uh-huh. And I'd be like, dang, that was easy. Mm-hmm. So those were the Realtor.com leads. And so I'm having incredible success with them. So when I brought on these 6 or 7 agents, Justin thought that if I give them all my leads, all they have to do is when the lead clicks on the phone or however it came to us, they got to call right away and go show the house. And I had some agents giving me pushback. Well, what if they're not pre-approved? I need a pre-approval letter. That's a good advice today in this market, but in that market it wasn't, because what would happen is they would just hang up with you and call somebody else.
Yeah.
And I had this example one time where I had an agent on my team giving me pushback, didn't want to show a home because they didn't have a pre-approval. I said, listen, if you say no, they're going to call somebody else until somebody says yes. It's the way you got to handle these Realtor.com leads. I don't know what Realtor was doing with their marketing, but I believe that they were telling these people, you click here now, you'll see a house in an hour. I mean, I don't know what was on the ads. This one example was this one lady a young girl called into me on a weeknight and said, can I see this home tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock? I called. It was a builder home that just fell off the escrow, and this gentleman that sells some of these builders' homes had the listing. So I called him up. I knew him. His name was Pete. I said, hey, man, can you give me the key? It's not there yet. It won't be there till like tomorrow at 10. I'm like, dude, I need the key. I'm like, this girl's going to buy a house. Her dad's in town. They want to see the house. You just came off the market. Like, it was pending. It just came back. Excuse me. I could tell she was going to buy a house. I could tell with these Realtor.com leads. She's like, as soon as I can get you in was 11 or whatever time you told me. About 30 minutes goes by. He calls me back. He goes, what's the name of that lead? And the last name was Bertrand. I remember that because when I worked at Rancho Santa Fe National Bank, the Bertrands own Mr. A's. They also own Mille Fleurs in Rancho Santa Fe. They own a couple restaurants. It's a prominent family in Rancho Santa Fe. So I'm like, are you part of the family? She wasn't. But long story short, the builder's lender called me, our agent called me back and said, dude, this girl has like 5 showing requests with different agents. So I called her back. And I said, have you been scheduling with more than one agent? She says, yep, the first one to get me in gets the deal. I didn't get the deal. She bought the house. Somebody else, she was just going because everybody was telling her no, there's no key there. She was calling until she got a yes. Those were what was how it was. And so I gave all these agents my leads, and I figured, okay, if I can do two deals a month, and 3 of them can do 1 out of the 7, I'll be okay. And I went from making $30,000, $40,000 a month to October was like 5. In November, I don't think I made anything. In December was like 5. And I was disappointed from the fact that leadership over there never came to me and said, what's going on in your business? Like, I felt like they should have. Like, you were doing this and now you're doing this. What happened? And I was trying to start a team. I didn't realize what was happening. What was happening was I was entrusting other agents to convert my leads and call them, and they weren't. I think stats show us the average agent calls a lead one time when it takes 15 to 18 attempts to convert that lead.
Wow.
You know, I think if you don't know the Zillow story, Zillow took the leads back from agents because agents were not calling. Consumers were calling to Zillow. This is how I understand it. Consumers were calling to Zillow and saying, hey, we requested to see a home and nobody called us. So Zillow went and did research, found out over 50% of their paid leads had never been called. So that's why Zillow today takes your leads, they nurture them, and now they transfer calls to you. Because their name, and you can hate them or not, hate them or like them, I don't care, but their name was being tarnished because they had consumers, 50% of whom said they were never getting calls back.
Right.
And unfortunately, I was learning that lesson in 2016. And so here, this gentleman's leaving this office. Coldwell Banker's kicking on my door, and now Coldwell Banker calls me right before Christmas and says they'll give me $58,000 if I come work for them. I just got to sign a 3-year contract. And so here I am. My mindset at the time was, okay, I'm at Ashford. I'm at Keller Williams. I'm struggling. I'm not doing the performance I'm doing. And it took me 3 months, unfortunately, to realize I should not give these people leads. I should give them appointments until they can show me that they convert. But it was too late by then. So here my mindset is this company fed me people. And then when it blew up, nobody came to ask me what was going on, so they must not care about me. That's the mindset I gave myself. And so the next mindset I gave myself was, okay, Coldwell Banker is going to get 10%. That's what they sold me on at first. When I went and signed the paperwork, it was 10 plus 7. It was 17%. They told me 10. I figured this. Coldwell Banker is going to be invested in me because if they get 10% and I make $1 million, they make 100,000, and if I make 2 million, they make 200,000. So they're going to be invested in me. They're going to want me to succeed.
How'd that work out?
In December of 2017, I gave them $28,000, bought myself out of my contract, and left.
And that's how you met this blonde lady?
Actually, after that, I went back to Keller Williams. I came back to Keller Williams. I just took a $28,000 hit, and I will give an applause for Keller. I came back and I negotiated. I left Keller Williams at 100% because they're a capping company, and so I negotiated to come back at 100%. I said, let me come back at 100%. I left at 100%, so that way, and rather than you taking the 20 or 30% you're going to take, I can put that money back in and pay my 28. The 28 I paid, pay it back.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. So Coldwell Banker, I don't want to bash other brokerages, but for me at the time, there was nobody that I saw that wanted to do the level of business that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
This is going to be a stab in the back for some people, but I jokingly said this is where dinosaurs go to die. Yeah. There was just, when I was there,
Yeah.
I didn't see anybody that wanted more than mediocrity.
Yeah.
It seemed to me that everybody was okay being average, and it was okay being status quo and just doing what we needed to do, and I didn't want that. I want more.
Yeah.
So how did Signature come